Right, so you've seen the headline of this one. It's not a pretty story. A former WWE writer is suing WWE over creative that has been branded offensively racist. Brittany Abrams worked as a WWE writer between 2020 and 2021 and has given extensive detail of her time there in her court filing.
Yeah, so according to the lawsuit, WWE, Vince McMahon and other executives allegedly discriminated against and retaliated against a black female writer for objecting to offensively racist and stereotypical jargon used in the scripts of black wrestlers. The suit names Chris Dunn, WWE senior writer, Ryan Callahan, WWE lead writer, Jennifer Pepperman, WWE senior writer, Christine Librano, WWE senior vice president for creative writing relations, Mike Heller, lead writer, as well as Vince and Stephanie McMahon. Brittany Abrams' multiple complaints were reportedly ignored, and it led to what is described as a hostile working environment, according to the complaint filed in the US District Court on Monday.
Now, Abrams began working as a writer for Raw and SmackDown during the pandemic and complained of racial and gender stereotypes being used in scripts. These complaints included numerous pitches for storylines that come across as insensitive or blatantly racist or sexist. She cites, as one example, pushing stereotypical and exaggerated accents onto Bianca Belair and Apollo Crews. Now, the Apollo Crews, as we know, was encouraged by writers to use a stronger Nigerian accent during a gimmick change that he had in 2021, and this is an example that is cited. Also in the filing, Brittany Abrams talks about conversations with herself and Bianca Belair. Belair had become frustrated with being given lines of dialogue that made her, quote, look ghetto. On 3 different occasions, Bianca Belair had been given a particular line to say that she didn't feel comfortable delivering, and it was brought up multiple times when Brittany Abrams communicated this back to Chris Dunn, according to the filing, and said that she doesn't want to use said dialogue. She offered to edit the script. She redrafted it. She submitted it to Chris Dunn for approval. Chris Dunn returned it with the line in question added back in. Abrams emailed Ryan Callahan, who, as Andrew said, is WWE's lead writer, with her concerns, and no action was taken.
So this comes from the court filing too. In or around November 2021, a WWE writer, Mr. Zach Hyatt, or Mr. Hyatt, admitted to plaintiff and other black female WWE writer, Miss Silvers, that he was afraid to critique his group of black wrestlers. Plaintiff and Miss Silvers spoke to the black performers directly, who expressed feeling unheard and misunderstood culturally, and who thanked plaintiff and Miss Silvers for their compassionate approach to writing for black and other minority characters. Shortly thereafter, plaintiff and Miss Silvers proceeded to share this information with their WWE lead writers. Plaintiff asserts that defendants engaged and continued to engage in a pattern and practice of discrimination against black female employees, African American female employees, and other minority employees too.
Now, in the filing, Abrams, as we say, goes into detail of 2 particular creative meetings. The first starts with a pitch for a romance angle with Aaliyah, Angel Garza, and Mansoor. It was pitched that Mansoor, as part of this romance angle, would be keeping a secret from Aaliyah. Lead writer Ryan Callahan suggested that secret should be that he is behind the 9/11 terrorist attacks. When the pitch was rejected, according to the filing, Callahan became frustrated and belligerent. It's ridiculous because, keep in mind, the whole thing is it's a ridiculous thing to even suggest. But Mansoor would have been 6 when that happened, which makes it even more farcical if it wasn't as farcical as it was before.
Yes, so from the filing too, in this pitch, Aaliyah and Mansoor were meant to fall in love whilst the jealous Angel tries to break them up. The pitch made Aaliyah appear intelligent and confident in herself and desires, containing Aaliyah speaking up for herself against both Angel and Mansoor and having her love and affection earned. WWE writer Zach Hyatt, who was heading up the storyline, expressed confusion about Aaliyah's character and offers a counter pitch that would be objectifying and bimbofying Aaliyah.
It was almost as if they couldn't comprehend the idea of this character having their own agency, and some of the conversations that go back and forth, it's, as they describe in the court filing, it's a confusion. It's like, why would she stand up for herself? She, it's such an old way of thinking, and this adds to a very sexist way that a lot of the writing goes down. Another example was given from 2021. Lead writer Ryan Callahan had a pitch for Shane Thorne. Now, you may remember that I think back in late 2021, we briefly saw Shane Thorne in footage from a dark match on SmackDown, sort of a Crocodile Dundee style gimmick.
Yes.
Now, nothing came of that, but there was a pitch for this to see Shane Thorne as somebody that hunts wrestlers backstage, as opposed to crocodiles hunts wrestlers. But Callahan was keen for Shane Thorne's hunting gimmick to feature him hunting Reggie, a black male wrestler, for fun. A storyline was pitched by Callahan where Shane would capture Reggie and constantly beat him up, and Reggie would always escape after being captured. Holding Reggie captive in cages was also discussed in these meetings. Now, from the filing, we hear from Abrams, who objects to the superior's racially motivated misconduct, specifically stating that a gimmick where a white man hunting a black African-American man for sport is racist. And this is from the filing. Callahan laughed and sarcastically responded, "Oh, what? Is that a bad thing?" As the WWE writers team's sole person of color, Abrams was devastated that none of her white Caucasian co-workers stepped in to complain about this discriminatory and offensive pitch. One of the things that seems to come through this is it's almost like this culture of not wanting to speak up. This comes out a few times in these conversations.
Yes.
I've noticed.
Abrams and several other WWE writers complained about comments being made, but it was reportedly rebuffed by Vice President Christine Librano. Wacky things are said in the writers' room all the time, and saying that WWE is actually progressive because 4 years ago there were no women in the writers' room. Abrams continued to oppose racist, sexist pitches and was fired in retaliation in April 2022. WWE fired her for taking a WrestleMania 38 branded chair, but the practice was allegedly a common one that white male writers weren't punished for.
I believe at the start of the video I might have said she was there till 2021. Obviously, as Andrew said, she was there till April of 2022. This comes from the end of the filing. It is clear that despite the plaintiff's excellent work of performance, defendants actually terminated her employment based on her complaints about defendants' racial discrimination and due to her race and gender. While plaintiff's employment with WWE was a harrowing, traumatic experience, the events complained of herein do not reflect a unique incident, as rudimentary internet research paints a similarly distressing picture of discriminatory abuse and misconduct by WWE and those occupying the most powerful positions within WWE. The totality of these acts demonstrates a pattern of discrimination intentionally perpetrated by the WWE management and the executive officers against the plaintiff. She's seeking reinstatement, damages, declaratory judgment, and an injunction restraining defendants from engaging in such unlawful conduct. That's the main story, the only story from this one. There's a lot to take in there.
A lot.
There's a lot. There is a lot in there. We wanted to give you the story as it stands. It is one that we will continue to monitor, and for the latest on it, we will let you know more at cultaholic.com. Our top story once again, and our only story once again, an ex-WWE writer is suing WWE over offensively racist creative. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.